Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of general medicine where I make a difficult boring topic easy to learn. And for that, I shall be referring to this resource called as the Mind Maps book for general medicine because this is something which contains all the topics of general medicine in proper heading form. You do not need to go through boring bookish language to learn any topic. Just open the mind map, 2-3 pages for one topic and you're done with it. You can also get these mind maps for yourself in the book form from any e-commerce platform like Amazon, Flipkart, Dentalcart, or the website of MedStudyGo, and you can even view these on the app of MedStudyGo in a soft copy format. So let's get into the lecture for today, which is leprosy. So to start with, what is leprosy? How is it caused? What is its causative agent? So leprosy, also called as the Hansen's disease, is a chronic bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium leprae and affects three main tissues: nerves, skin, and mucous membrane. So the bacterium is Mycobacterium leprae, which is an acid-fast bacilli and affects nerve, skin, and mucous membrane. The mode of transmission is inhalation or intimate contact, and incubation is generally 2 to 7 years. So how does this bacteria actually cause the infection? That is what we read under the category of pathophysiology. So what happens is that when the patient gets infected by Mycobacterium leprae, it enters through the nose. This bacteria likes to stay in cooler areas. So after the nose, it invades to nerves in the skin because under that it can reside and be in a cooler area and propagate easily. After this, the bacilli migrate to the Schwann cells of the nerves, and in the cooler places, they try to proliferate. After this, it invokes immunological response because of inflammation of the nerve cells, which leads to immunological response and inflammation. Now, there can be two situations. Either the patient has a good immunity response or it does not. If the patient has a good immunity response, the histiocytes, which are the cells, they transform into epithelioid cells and they engulf the leprae cells into themselves. So the cells engulf leprae and arrest the infection with granuloma formation. This does not lead to any skin or nerve lesion and they appear only after the healing has happened. So this is also termed as Paucibacillary Leprosy, wherein there is paucity, that is less number of bacillary lesions. So paucity means less, paucibacillary will mean less bacilli, which lead to lesser number of lesions, therefore Paucibacillary leprosy. Compared to this, if a patient has low immunity, the response to the bacteria will be very poor. This will lead to widespread infection. So histiocytes, they transform to leprae cells. They actually form infective cells and infection of the system and the whole systemic involvement happens and infection spreads. This leads to skin and nerve lesions, which leads to multibacillary leprosy. Multibacillary because there are going to be multiple bacilli in the body leading to multiple lesions. Paucibacillary is something with 1 to 5 lesions and multibacillary is with more than 5 lesions. So lesions are going to be present on eyes, smooth muscles, testes, kidney, vascular endothelium. All of these tissues get involved very easily. So this is how the pathophysiology of Mycobacterium leprae gets involved, which leads to leprosy. Now, what will be the clinical features for this disease? If all of this is happening, skin lesions are going to be there, nerve involvement is going to be there because whichever organ the bacilli is going to affect, symptom will be present. For skin lesion, there are going to be hypopigmented patches with loss of sensation. It is usually asymmetrical and there is going to be dry, scaly, shiny skin because the lesion will be present. For nerve system involvement, abnormal temperature regulation will be present and abnormal sweating is there because the body tries to maintain its temperature. Cold temperature gets affected first because the bacilli is more prone or more likely to get involved in a cooler temperature. Now, because of the skin lesion being involved, there is facial thickening which is present, especially there is facial thickening present, which leads to Leonine Facies type of appearance. And lastly, if peripheral nerves get involved and thickening happens, it leads to involvement of ulnar and posterior tibial nerves or the facial nerve of the face. So this leads to facial thickening. Also, there is going to be anhidrosis and alopecia, which is decreased in the skin cells. So skin leads to formation of sweat or the hair both of these will be decreased because skin is affected. And pedal edema will also be present because of the infection load of the bacteria. Another thing which we need to know beyond the clinical features is the classification of leprosy. Because there is a difference in the type of reaction on the basis of immunity, there are going to be different types of leprosy on the basis of this very immunity. For that, there are two classifications. One has been given by WHO and one has been given by Ridley and Jopling. The WHO classification is pretty simple: multibacillary and paucibacillary. Paucibacillary is for someone with good immunity and multibacillary is when the person has low immunity. Now, Ridley and Jopling further classified these into types like tuberculoid leprosy and lepromatous leprosy. Tuberculoid leprosy was something with good immunity wherein the lepromatous lesions were less. Bacilli were less in amount, therefore less severity of the situation. And the last stage of this cycle was lepromatous leprosy, wherein there were leprae lesions actually present because of high amount of the bacilli. There were 5 stages where the disease could be classified, which can be called as the tuberculoid leprosy, the borderline tuberculoid leprosy, wherein it is more towards tuberculoid but not totally tuberculoid. Then there can be mid borderline, which is in no category, can become any of the two. Then there is borderline lepromatous, and lastly there is lepromatous leprosy. So this is the classification given by Ridley and Jopling. It is based on the same response, that is immunity response of the body. It happens that Mycobacterium leprae causes subclinical infection and there is an initial phase of leprosy. If the person has very good immune system, there is spontaneous recovery. But if not, there can be strong cell-mediated response, variable or deficient. This leads to tuberculoid leprosy, borderline cases, or actual lepromatous leprosy. So this is how the classification can be decided, and staging can be done progressing from TT2 to LL, which is tuberculoid leprosy to lepromatous leprosy. After we know this classification and the clinical features, we need to investigate the patient and come to a confirmatory diagnosis for the type and the stage of the disease so that we can treat the patient adequately. For that, the first and the foremost thing is detailed physical examination, because with the presence of the lesion and the skin lesions which are going to be present, you can easily differentiate which type of leprosy is present. Secondly, slit skin smears are created from earlobe and fingers to visualize the leprae. Lepromin test is done where an intradermal injection of lepromin is present and it is given. This lepromin is going to interact with the leprae cells and produce a patch-like lesion at the site of injection. So this gives a positive response. If lepromin is injected and no lesion is found, it means leprae cells are not present and lepromin cannot interact with them. Therefore, no lesion will be present. Skin biopsy is done to view the granulomas and their contents. Serological tests are done to view the IgM antibodies present against the bacilli. And lastly, PCR testing can be done to analyze the DNA of the Mycobacterium leprae and analyze how much quantity of the bacterial load is present in the body. Once we have done the confirmatory diagnosis, we need to treat the patient, and for that the main treatment is multidrug therapy, which is multiple drugs are given. 3 main drugs which are used are rifampicin, dapsone and clofazimine. Along with that, one thing which you need to know that this drug therapy can lead to complications which are known as leprae reactions. These leprae reactions are of 2 types, type 1 and type 2, as you can see over here. So type 1 is because of cell-mediated response to the drugs, and type 2 is because of immune complex deposition. This type 2 is also known as ENL, which is Erythema, Nodosum, Leprosum. So we need to know the type of reaction which can happen because of the multidrug therapy, which is type 1 and type 2, and it depends on to the response of the body, which is cell mediated or immune complex mediated. So this is how you can wrap up the topic of leprosy in just 2 mind map pages. But if you're someone who's preparing for NEET, this is not going to suffice for you. What you need to add on are some NEET pointers, which are the previous year pointers and have been asked directly from this topic. For that, one thing which you need to refer to is the Beyond the Mind Map notes, which can be found on the app of MedStudyGo. For example, it will give you pointers for the disease and the bacteria which affects leprosy. So leprosy is caused by Mycobacterium leprae, cannot be cultured, slow as dividing. Cool superficial tissues is the site of lodgement. You can get easy pointers. You don't need to write anything down or read any long paragraphs. Then what it targets skin and peripheral nerves. It's going to be very quick revision for you. And after that, you can just jump on to the questions. How it spreads by nasal and respiratory droplets. So the NEET pointer over here for you shall be The organism is M. leprae, uncultivable acid-fast bacilli, which targets skin and peripheral nerves via Schwann cells, which are the cells of the nerves, and spreads by nasal droplets with prolonged contact. So this is how you can read direct pointers and solve easily the questions which have been asked previously in the NEET exams and have a high probability of being asked again. The questions I'm talking about are of two types, flashcards or MCQs. Flashcard is one question with one direct answer, no choices. MCQ is something where the choices also come. So what is diagnostic test for leprosy? It is the slit skin smear test, wherein the skin can be slit, smear can be created, and leprae can be visualized. Then the Mycobacterium leprae characteristically affects which organ or tissue? So we have studied it affects skin and peripheral nerves. That shall be the answer. You just flip over the question, view the answer, and beyond that, you can also view an explanation as to why which option is the answer and why another option is not. I know this is going to be very descriptive for any student. I hope all these resources are utilized by you in the correct manner because they are very useful from the aspect of NEET. The app I'm talking about is this one by MedStudyGo. It contains all the resources in one location. You do not need any subscription for it. The more you study, the more coins you earn, and those coins can be used to unlock all these resources like mind maps, flashcards, notes, and the beyond mind maps notes. So I would highly recommend you to download this app for yourself from iOS App Store or the Android Play Store. And if you would like to read certain topics from general medicine or other subjects and compile them in under 10-15 minutes, you must subscribe to the channel of MedStudyGo on YouTube. Like this video while you're at it, and we shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.